I'm Greg Shapiro, and let's queer up the USA View. Missouri blocks nearly all anti-LGBTQ plus bills in major setback for GOP agenda. Missouri lawmakers introduced 58 anti-LGBTQ plus bills during the 2026 legislative session, but only one anti-trans measure ultimately became law before the legislature adjourned Friday. According to queer advocacy group Promo, the outcome marks a major slowdown in a state long viewed as one of the nation's leading testing grounds for anti-LGBTQ plus legislation. The proposals introduced this year targeted transgender youth, drag performers, classroom discussions on gender expression, diversity initiatives, and transgender student participation in sports. One bill mirrored Kansas's controversial anti-trans restroom restrictions, while others aimed to permanently extend Missouri's existing bans on gender-affirming health care for minors. However, months of lobbying, public testimony, and grassroots organizing helped stop most of the measures from becoming law. Promo says more than 5,000 people participated in advocacy efforts during the session. The only anti-trans measure that passed permanently extends Missouri's restriction on gender-affirming health care for incarcerated transgender people. The provision was included in a state appropriations bill and now heads to Republican Governor Mike Keho for his signature. According to Promo, Missouri lawmakers have introduced 371 anti-LGBTQ plus bills since 2015, though only 4 have become law. The organization is now focusing on defeating Missouri's proposed Amendment 3. It is a ballot initiative that could repeal the state's reproductive rights amendment, ban most abortions, and constitutionally prohibit gender transition procedures for minors. You know, coming from, the Great Lakes states, the Midwest, I have a lot of friends from the, who are a little south, living in Missouri. I have a lot of friends in Columbia and some friends in St. Louis, and I'm concerned for them. I'm as concerned for them as they are for us here in Florida. And I think LGBTQ Missourians are fortunate to have an organization such as Promo advocating on their behalf, and maybe those doing those kinds of things here could learn a few things from the Promo people.
But will they learn? They never do. So I have a feeling, in our next legislative session, they're going to try some other things as well. It was funny hearing that Missouri is the testing ground for all of these anti-LGBTQ initiatives, because it feels like Florida is actually the ground zero, the proving ground. Exactly. It's definitely, I feel like LGBTQ plus people, it's like the Hunger Games here. Yeah. It's like who can outdo who in order to make our lives miserable. So,
just the fact they had 371 bills introduced, only 4
one passed. 58 bills, anti-LGBTQ bills were put up on the floor, and only one passed. Right. And it was for no gender-confirming surgeries if an inmate is incarcerated.
Correct. Right. So they're obviously trying very hard to protect themselves against ghosts.
The big bad queers,
And again, to protect less than 1%. Transgender people incarcerated, less than 1% of the population. They're trying to protect themselves from, as I said before, the boogeyman.
Yeah.
It's,
1%.
LGBTQ plus people are constantly being scapegoated in our society. When I go to the gas pump, my costs have gone up. When I go to the grocery store, it used to be that Whole Foods used to be whole paycheck. Every grocery store is whole paycheck now. So, when things are not going well in a society, especially economically, they're always looking for people to pin it on, and not necessarily pin it on, although that's what they do. The downfall of, the United States is, LGBTQ plus people. They don't call us LGBTQ plus. They say much worse. But it's definitely about distracting where, look over here and don't look over there.
Right.
So
look Houdini, look somewhere else.
Look somewhere else. It's like, don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. So, gay people, queer people, gender nonconforming people, we're really in a pickle. And, hopefully cooler heads prevail in the future. We have to be hopeful. Because right now it's not looking too good. Although, even in a place like Missouri, with only one anti-LGBTQ plus bill getting passed, it's horrible. I feel terrible for the people that can't access care.
Right.
And I also have to think, well, at least 57 of those bills didn't get passed.
Well, and hopefully Promo will share some of their playbook.
Hopefully. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.